Hey guys, and welcome back to your 8th tutorial in MATLAB. Today we're going to be talking about some exciting stuff, actually learning how to build functions in MATLAB so we can start doing some real programming. So why don't we start by creating a function. And well, before we do that, you might recall we were using a function by the name of linspace, and linspace took 3 arguments. The first number, the last number, and the number of elements we wanted between those numbers. So why don't we just go through an example of linspace one more time. Linspace, say we start with 10, we end with 10, and we want 10 elements. So if we press enter, linspace gives us back 10 elements between 1 and 10. Well, that's great, but let's say we want to create our own function. Well, that's how, let's go up here into File, and go into New, and create a new function. Okay, so we get this window popping up on the screen, and it's a standard template for any function you're going to create in MATLAB. Well, it has the name of the function here, and the input arguments are located in here, in these parentheses. The values that this function is going to compute and return to us, as we saw back here, we had return to us 1 through 10, are going to show up in this set of closed brackets. So why don't we create a really basic function? Before we provide any arguments, let's just create a function that doesn't take any arguments at all. So we'll call this function R function. And we'll have this function do nothing but simply say, I am a function. And we're going to have no return values. So this is just a really basic, very basic function. And it's going to, every time we call our function, it's going to say, I am a function. So why don't we save this, and it's asking us what we want to save it as, and we'll leave it as our function. Press save, close this guy down for now. And if we take a look over here in the current working directory for MATLAB, we see our function has popped up and it's now present inside. So if we recall our function and press enter, well, the parentheses, we need that too. With no arguments, our function does exactly what we told it to. It comes back and it says, I am a function. Alright, well, this is nice, but let's say we want to have the function actually do something like take a value in, well, let's say we wanted to have it take a value and then add something to it. Like, we'll have it add 10, for example. Alright, well, let's bring up our function again. We have our function window here, and we'll give it one input argument. We'll call it var1, for example. Okay, replace I am a function with, let's see, we'll call it var2 equals to var1 plus 10. So, and suppressing the output with a semicolon, as we learned before. So whatever number we provide as an argument, it's going to add 10 to it and give variable 2 that value. So if we print out the value of var2, save this, and now we go back to our main screen here and type in our function name this time. Misspelled it. Whoops. Alright. And then we provide a value of, say, I don't know, 3? Okay. So we have 3 and we add 10 to it. So we should get back 13. At least that's what the function should say. So if we run it, bam, we have var2 equals 13. But say that we didn't want to have it printed out in the function. Say we wanted to just pass the value back. So let's go back in here one more time to our function and change the return value, or add a return value. We'll call it var2 again, And this time, instead of printing out the value of var2 within the function, what we're going to do is we're just going to compute the value of var2 and then return it through a return value. So when we save this, come back to our main screen, and one last time, why don't we run our function, and this time we'll provide a value of, say, 5, which should give us back 5 plus 10, 15. Oh, that's right, I forgot. Underscore. My bad. Alright, let's press enter again. Bam, 15. Or, of course, we can take this value and store it. We can create a variable, call it a variable, set it equal to the result of the function. Press enter. Bam. Now we have returned a value and stored it in a variable. Okay, well, this pretty much concludes the introduction to functions. They're going to be very handy later on because we can develop a whole bunch of them, and if we have different things we need to do, we can create a function for each one and come back later and use them. And we can use functions in other functions, but we'll save that for another tutorial. Anyhow, this is your quick and brief introduction to functions. I hope you learned something, and if not, sorry, but I will try my best in the next one to help you find something new. Alright, well, take care. Bye-bye.